Okay, good morning and welcome to this week's episode of Feedback Friday. Today we are coming to you live from the governor's residence. Today we are joined by the Vihiga Water and Sanitation Company Technical Manager Naftali Agalomba. He'll be speaking to us about what the water company does. You may remember it was previously known as Amatsi, so he'll tell us a bit more about the transition into the new name and what informed that and why it's now called Viwasco. So karibu on set, Naftali, it's nice to have you here, Mr. Agalomba.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes.
So as we always begin in this episodes, we'll start with yourself. So you'll tell us a bit about yourself. You're the technical manager at Vihiga Water and Sanitation Company. So what does the technical manager do? What does Mr. Agalomba do at Viwasco?
Thank you so much. First of all, I'll start by introducing myself officially. My name is Naftali Agalomba. The technical manager of the current Vihiga Water and Sanitation Company. I must say I've worked for this company since 2006 in the technical section. I've rose across ranks. My current position is the technical manager. The function of the technical manager is to ensure that the operations of the company are running as regards water production and distribution. Maybe now to go to your question, where the company has come from and up to where it is. Since 2006, the company was registered under the name Amatsi Water Company. The name was developed after customer stakeholders consultations with the county government. But recently, in the last few months, around 3 months back, His Excellency the Governor ascended to the new Vihiga Water Act, which now had the cup of changing the company from Vihiga Water from Amatsi Water Company to Vihiga Water Company, which now assumed the function of running the water activities as a county entity. Currently we have gone through the process of branding. We have changed our name now from Amatsi Water to Vihiga. And one good thing is we also have got a new office which is actually branded the Vihiga Water Company. And this company is located along the former municipal county offices. And if you want to access the office, is on the road stretching from where there is the office of the station for Vihiga FM towards St. Clair's. I would want to say that since the transition, our function is to ensure that water is running within the Vihiga county and for the benefit of the residents of Vihiga. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. And just as a follow-up to your good explanation on helping us understand the transition from Amatsi to the new Vihiga Water and Sanitation Company. And one of the aspects of it is that we have, previously we know that Amatsi used to supply water to several areas. Can you tell us a bit about the reach of the company? Where do you supply water to? And now you've also explained to us where your offices are. Are there offices in the different regions? If I am very far, because the main office is in Bale, do the different regions, the counties, sub-counties have offices? Do the wards have offices? And what's your reach in terms of the different projects that you're conducting in supplying water to the county?
Thank you so much. Initially, when Amatsi was formed, it was actually done in just urban water schemes. So it was basically serving Mbale town and a bit of its environs, And then it was also serving Maseno town, Luanda, and a bit of the environs. And then in Hamisi, Mazi was running Kaimosi water plant, which was serving a complex area and some sections of Hamis sub-county. But now with the Viwasco, the area of jurisdiction has been expanded, of course with the consultation with the Water Service Regulatory Board, which expanded its area of jurisdiction so that it covers a bigger section of Viga. The mandate of Viwasco, being an entity of the county, is supposed again to, is in the process of assuming some of the community water plants that were not being run with that. And that means, therefore, our area of coverage has increased in the sense that it is the only WSP, that is the water company, that is serving water within, which has been given the mandate to serve water within the Vihiga County.
And residents often complain that there is no water, and for a bit of time, especially people in Bale mentioned that there is no water supply within the region, and other areas often people come forward to say hatuna maji kwa nyumba. So at what point tunafikaje ndo hatuna maji and we have a water company, and what happens on the back end? Because we know what happens at our homes, tunapata hakuna maji, but how do you ensure that this water shortages do not happen, and what leads up to the point where we do not have water during certain times, and how do you work around that?
Okay, fine. Before I explain the details of what your question,
yes,
I want to appreciate or agree that for the period between some weeks of November up to the first weeks of December, I will want to agree that we had the problem of water supply within our area of supply. And what brought that issue was as a result of power disconnection. There was an outstanding bill which took some time for us to resolve with the Kenya Power, and it took us around 3 weeks. And that doesn't mean that we were not reaching most of our customers, as I will explain later. But I want to say that the issue of power has now been resolved through an amicable discussion between the company and Kenya Power, and of course with the consultation of the water department. So as we speak, all our water schemes are running. But as you may be aware, with the issue of water circulation within the system, if the system has been off water for some time, so when you come back on supply, it takes time to balance the system. So what we are doing now, we are balancing the system so that those people who are off the supply are able to get water during this Christmas period. So the assurance I want to give to the residents of Viga, those who are getting water on the tap, even when we are on disconnection, we are running an essential service, and even during this festive period, the technical people will be on the ground to ensure that water is running. And those areas that were not getting water when we were on disconnection, they are able to get water on the taps. Then another thing about our office is open throughout, even during this festive period. So we are able to receive even customer complaints and address. The emergency teams will be on the ground to ensure that, of course, I'm the one who says the emergency teams, they'll be on the ground to ensure that any complaint is addressed. Now, while we were on disconnection, we were not totally out of supply, because the systems we run are pumping, and they are hybrids kind of. So we have some solar panels in those schemes, But then, when we are running on the solar panels, we depend on the sunshine. When the sunshine is on, then the pumps peak. When it comes down, so you keep on now fluctuating. So you find that the water we are able to pump that during that period does not reach most of our customers. So you find like Fombale would concentrate in the CBD area, and a bit of some customers, but on ration basis. The same to Chavakali. You'd find maybe in Chavakali area and a bit of some of the sections. But our major scheme, that is Maseno, that one, a hybrid system, cannot run off when it is off the grid. Future plans are that we gap up the where we have deficiencies in power supplies by increasing more of the solar panels, so that we mitigate such a kind of problems in future.
Thank you for that. And also, one of the aspects of the new name is we have sanitation in Vihiga Water and Sanitation Company. So how does Viwasco, as we popularly call it, ensure that the water that you supply to residents, to business people across the county is safe and clean to use? So how do you ensure that that is done?
Okay, thank you. I want to to tell the residents of Vihiga that the sanitation coverage within Vihiga County is not very sufficient, with the reasons that I'll give. When you look at our technical information, you find that the sanitation coverage within Vihiga County is less than 1%. And that doesn't mean that we are just seated back. There are major programs that are coming to take care of sewerage facilities within this Vihiga County. And these ones are developed by like Victoria Water Works Development Agents, and it attracts huge sums of money. So those are our future programs. So what are the areas that we do our sewerage coverage? Like in the complex. In the complex, we had the old infrastructure that were built in the early days. So for complex, we are able to get our sewer, which gets to the stabilization ponds, and then the effluent is discharged to River Gargoli. So you find even the coverage there, we are able just to serve Kafu, that is Kaimos Friends University, and Friends College of Technology, and then also Jumuiya. But the other areas are not covered. Now for Mbale, which is our major town, we're also doing some sewer activities. Right now we have got around 150 households within the town which are connected to the sewer lines that now take the effluent to the stabilization ponds, which are being developed by the Vihiga County. And then still on sanitation, through the funding of WSTF, that is Water Trust Fund, we were funded and we developed a decentralized treatment facility, which is supposed to receive some of the wastes that is collected by the exhausters. This facility is just at headway. The challenge we are currently having is we do not have actually a functional exhauster. But through the department, we are getting an assistance to ensure that the exhauster that is there is revamped, so that we are able to collect some of the sewer wastes and treated at the decentralized treatment plant. Again, we are having a project that we are pursuing in Luanda, so that if it is funded again, we want to come up with another decentralized treatment facility that will be able to take off the wastes within Luanda town, as we await the major plans that will be developed by the Lake Victoria North Waterworks Development Agency.
And you'd mentioned that sanitation in the county is only at 1% now. Are there any plans?
Maybe let me just
Yes.
explain that.
Yes.
The sewer services.
Sewer services.
But sanitation, now.
Yes.
Of course, in Vihiga County, we don't have a bigger percentage of open defecation. What I mean by this is most of the homestays that are within Vihiga County have these toilets that, of course, with septic tanks. And why I talked about the DTF and the exhauster. When they're functional, such a toilets can be exhausted and the waste is taken to the DTF. So when we talk about sanitation within Vihiga County,
Yes.
it's actually at 98%.
Okay.
Yes.
So the 1% is just for the sewer services.
Yes.
Okay. And now for the 98%, does your, because you mentioned a lot of your reach is within Mbale, you serve the university. Are there any plans in place to now increase the sewer services sanitation above 1% for the county, and also to ensure that we reach beyond your reach that is currently that you currently serve, you currently supply water to reach the rural areas? Because a lot of people in the rural areas may not have heard about Viwasco or may not have been able to interact with the supply that you distribute to around the country. So are there any plans in place to expand your reach beyond what you have right now?
Yeah, maybe to start with the expansion of sewer services.
Yes.
At our level as a water company, because as I mentioned earlier, to come up with a major sewer plant, so you need a lot of capital investment that runs into billions. But as a company, we have come up with the clustered sewer facilities. We have plans to have clustered sewer facilities. So I talked of Mbale, we have the DTF.
Yes.
Mbale, we are coming up. And in Rwanda, we are coming up with a proposal. Actually, the proposal is there, is with the WSTF. Then again, we'll also come up with another one in Chapter 2, so that we are able to increase our sewer and sanitation coverage. But as I said, the Lake Victoria Waterworks has come up with a master plan that has also clustered sewer plans. So there will be one that will take care of Kaimo's area, Ami's area. There will be one that will take care of Mbale Chavakali area. Then there will be one that will take care of Emuhai and the Maseno areas. Those are long terms. But in expanding on our connectivity, I mentioned that there are rural community water plants that are being developed by the water county, the water department. So the plan is, once those plans are completed, they are handed over to Viwasco. Those that are functional. Although again in the Water Act, there is also a rural board that is coming up that will now take the functions of those small plans that cannot be able to be managed by Viwasco. So those plans are well embedded in the Vihiga Water Act to ensure that those people who are out of coverage
Yes.
with the water are actually taken care of within our strategic plan. I think basically that is
Yes.
the response to your question.
Thank you. And you've also mentioned the water department in the county.
Mm-hmm.
So how does Viwasco is a separate entity? How does the company work with the water department to ensure that your activities are seamless and you're also able to serve residents well?
Yeah, our relation and interrelation is that, the water department, actually the company is an entity of the county.
Yes.
And this entity is under the water department. Now, what are the separate functions? the company is charged with the function of supply of water. But the owner of the assets is the department, isn't it? So we run those departments on their behalf. Now, their function is they have to ensure that they develop these assets. Then when they are developed, then they are handed over to the company to run the services in the most appropriate way and prudent way, that is. So that is how we relate. It's like now they actually are even our oversight. So because they have given us the assets, but they also have to ensure that we are running them in a better way. So that is how we relate.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you for that. And now my next question is on revenue collection.
Yes.
The company also supports revenue collection within the county. And one of the key things that was mentioned in previous reports and in previous years is that we tend to have a lot of water loss that results in loss of revenue. So how have you been able to improve this to ensure that within now this financial year that we are in, 2025-26, that we have less water loss, therefore less revenue loss? And what have been the challenges before that have led to, sometimes water just, you forget to close the tap, water overflows. So what are some of these challenges that you have faced in the past that you have now been able to identify moving forward to ensure that we do not have revenue loss in terms of water loss?
Thank you so much. I'll agree with you that this issue is actually the non-revenue water. And it's actually a global menace.
Yes.
That when you look at it globally, you find globally there are billions of shillings which are lost through non-revenue water. I must say our Viga water is not an exceptional. One is I'll want to mention why we have been having a lot of water losses and the mitigation we are doing. One is even when you look at our connectivity is not all that big. Reason being that we are running old distribution lines that were done years back. So you find their states cannot even hold some of the pressures. That is one. Because and that's why we have been pushing this issue of last mile connectivity, so that we are able to replace those old pipes with the standard pipes that can be able to with the hold pressures that do not lead to loss of water. That's one. Number two, we have this issue, and I think maybe the county government needs to help us, the issue of road constructions. You find sometimes a road is done and our lines are damaged. By the time you are realizing that you are losing water, it's too late. So we have been asking, and we want to have the collaboration so that when roads are being done, we are alerted. We identify where our lines are so that we come up with issues. If the lines are damaged, how are they repaired? Isn't it? That is two. Number three, in the last 2 years, we have been struggling to ensure that we meter all our customers. And as we speak, we have completed 100% metering of our customers. So that when we do our billing, we are only billing those customers that are metered. So that we are able to ensure that we account for the water that goes through the meter. So that one has been done. Then number four, of course you cannot rule out the issue of water theft. So some of this water at times have been lost through water theft. Although some of the cases that we come across, we ensure that they are stamped out. But now the problem of even stamping out water theft completely has had a challenge in the recent past because the regulations are not there. Because you arrest somebody, you need to take him to court, but you do not have the laws to prosecute. But we are happy now the Water Act is there. The county government is working on the regulations. Once those regulations are there, then we shall be able to stamp out the issue of water theft. Then another areas that we realized we are losing a lot of water is capacity. Capacity, we need to have proper capacity so that the meters are read well. Those meters that are faulty can be able to be identified. Now, what are the mitigations we have done? Currently, we have an non-water revenue water policy in place that we are using to ensure that we put up strategies to reduce non-revenue water. So as we speak, we have teams. We have teams in place, like I have a technical team that I'm leading. I've come up with the work plans. I'm working on, now that we have done 100% metering, I'm now working on placing of what we call district meters. Recently, I finished installing meters that are directing water to Luanda town. So at every building circle, I'm able to identify how much water did we release to this town against those meters. And if water was lost, then we move in to ensure that are we able to get to these losses and stamp it out. So we are actually very hopeful that as time is moving on, our non-revenue water is going to reduce steadily as we move towards acceptable levels.
Thank you for that. And today we're joined by Viwasco Technical Manager Naftali Agalomba. We'll be taking a short break. We continue encouraging you. Please send your questions. Hizo maswali zote zenye mmekuwa mkiuliza, maji iko wapi, maji imefika wapi, hakuna maji, ask in the comments, we'll be able to address them. So we'll be back after a short break. Okay, thank you and welcome back to this week's episode of Feedback Friday with me, Shamim Hussein. We are with the Vihiga Water and Sanitation Company Technical Manager, Naftali who is telling us a bit more about, the water connectivity. We had your complaints on there is no water, your questions on water connectivity, and he's been able to answer that. And just Mr. Agalomba, one of our audience says here, you're very eloquent and have a clear understanding of your obligations. So thank you for your comment. And just also another comment here from Rafael, who says that last mile water connectivity and metering remains the elephant in the room for Viwasco, following your previous explanation on last mile connectivity. So do you have any response for that?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I want to appreciate the comments coming from our listeners. On the last mile connectivity, I'll want to be very open. And what happened in 2021, there was the so-called Vihiga water cluster project, which was funded by the Belgium government, and it developed, it improved on productions. Like in Kaimos, it stepped up our production by 2,500 meter cubic per day capacity. In Mbale here, it increased by 5,000 meter cubic per day. In Maseno, it increased production by 5,000 meter cubic per day. Now that is just production. The program did not have the storage and distribution component. So the production capacities are there. But now what we are lacking, and the component that was missing, was the last mile connectivity. So that this production can be able to reach most people. Now this last mile connectivity is also another program that is supposed to be funded heavily. Because through the development agency, like Victoria Water Works Development Agency, did feasibility studies regarding last mile connectivity for the Vihiga residents that can now be able to benefit from those additional production. So they came up with the bills of quantities that ran to almost close to 2 billion. If we have to ensure that we do proper storage and meet most of our Vihiga residents. Now, these bills of quantities were supposed to be funded by ADB Bank, that is African Development Bank. And the people who are pushing it are the development agents, that is like Victoria Water Works Development Agents. So we did our part. We gave them all the data. They have done the designs. They are there. They're even on the website. Maybe if any other residents would want to later on get the details of getting the website, those designs are there. But then the funding has not yet been done. There was even the issue of scaling down those designs so that it is done in phase A. So to date, it has not been done. So the agency is still pushing the African Development Bank through the main Ministry of Water, so that if it is funded, then those programs will be rolled out. If it is rolled out, people will be assured that all those lines that went dormant will have water. So that the push for funding is still going on. And I think even the president, the other time he visited Vihiga, he talked of the same, that he will be ensuring that he assists ensuring that we get the funding for last mile connectivity. So as our viewer still puts it, it's still an elephant in the house. But we want to, as Viwasco, we want to thank the county government of Vihiga through the water department. At their level, they have been able to be doing some last mile connectivities, but those are not minimal. They lay about 2 kilometers of the lines. Then after laying, then they are handed over to us for us to connect. If I may mention some of the lines that have been funded by the Vihiga County government.
Yes.
There is a line that was laid from Sigongo towards Shiru, about 2 kilometers. That line has got water. We are sensitizing people to get connected. That is county government, last mile connectivity. There is also a line that was funded by the county government of Vihiga. They laid a line from Shamahoko Tang to Sabatia. They also did a tank at Lusengeli. Those lines are active. They are receiving water, and we have people who are connected. We had also another line that was laid from Chavakali tanks towards Bendera. The line is active. People are getting water. In Emuhaya, the county government laid a line from Emuhaya Center towards Wemilabi. That line is active. It's getting water. Amongst others. Yes. So we want to thank the county government of it that it's actually assisting the company to increase connectivity, but within a limited space. But if you got that last mile connectivity, then we'll be able to ensure that these big capacities we have are able to reach our customers. Because even with the addition of 12,500 meter cubic that was brought in by the Belgian government, we are only able to do around 40%. Why are we doing 40%? Because we don't have storage.
Yes.
Then we also don't have distribution lines. So you find now we have the reduced production. So that's all about last mile connectivity.
Okay. And because you mentioned there are several areas that have new connections that you're sensitizing people on. Do you have extension workers? Do you have officers on the ground who are able to, solve some of these problems before they reach the main office? Does each area have its own, maybe per ward or per sub-county have its own officer in charge of connectivity at that area?
Oh yeah, you asked that question, but I think I missed to respond to it.
Yes.
Now we have what we call our companies divided into what we call schemes.
Yes.
We have a scheme in Kaimos, which is under a supervisor. Okay, under the supervisor we have field technicians and meter readers. So those field technicians, they're able to reach directly to the customers, attend to issues. Then if there are issues, they are transmitted through the scheme supervisor up to the office of the technical manager. And if there are technical issues, they are addressed. Again, at the head office, we have the customer care people and the public relations.
Yes.
Again, if we have got issues in the field, they are received by officers, then transmitted to the office, and they are addressed. But those issues that can be solved by our scheme supervisors, they are dealt with, but in coordination with the head office people. So they're divided. We have the technical, we have the commercial. So if the issue is commercial, it's addressed by the commercial section. If it's technical, it's addressed by the technical office. So we have the Kaimo scheme, we have the Mbale scheme, which is managed by a scheme supervisor with also his staff. We also have got Maseno, Luanda, which is managed by a supervisor. We have Emuhaya, Bunangwe, which is managed by a supervisor. Then we have Vihiga Chango and Sosian. It is managed by a supervisor with all the staffs that are both technical and commercial staff.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. And how does one access the technical officers? Are they mobile? or do they have an office? Do they all sit at the scheme officers? I presume scheme officers have an office in each of the schemes. So, and these technical officers, are people aware of their technical officers? Are they mobile, or do they also sit at the scheme officers?
Yeah, that question again I skipped. Our scheme staff are mobile, and the company procured the motorbikes. So each scheme manager has a motorbike that he rotates with within the scheme. Then in terms of communication,
Yes.
one of the recent achievements we have done, we have actually recently upgraded our billing system. And we did take all our customer details, which are centralized. And the good bit of this system is the customer may not even need to reach me directly. The system is that he can even be able to interact with us on phone. This system is called Utility Master.
Yes.
So we have been rolling out the billing, and the good bit of it is just on the phone. A customer can query, and I'm able to respond. A customer can receive a bill, is able to pay, and he gets a response. The customer can even get to the system. Of course, the USSD is being developed. He can even query even his previous billing. So that is how we are able to reach our customers, even not physically, but through software.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's great, because I was going to ask a question on the technologies you use.
Yes.
And I think it's also important that some of us do not like going to look for someone. And for those who may not know who the technical officers are, the USSD codes and the various software that they're able to interact with can be able to solve some of the problems.
Yeah, that system is so good. It's so good. Once you are our customer, we get all your details, your phone number, your ID, and what. So, and it is set. You don't need to come to the office. You can pay your bill, you can receive your bill, you can interact with us. Again, even the good bit as a technical manager, the good bit of that system is even as we deal with our non-revenue water, and maybe, you cannot say that you miss irregularities in the field. They are there. But the good bit of this system is it's like, let's say if I have to go to a customer connection, the system is actually, there's no paperwork. It starts with a task. So there is that person who will be given the task. Then the system now escalates the task to the next person. Who, like me, I can authorize or approve a connection where I'm seated. Because now from there it is moving until when it reaches even the CEO of the company. So that system is so good. And that is the latest technology we have brought in the company, and is good. Yes.
Thank you for that, and thank you again for joining us today. As we conclude, we'd like to ask if you have any final remarks. And tunaelekea Christmas, you've given an assurance that we will have water during Christmas. So for those residents who are worried that there will be no water connection, the technical manager at Viwasco has been able to explain and raise some of the issues and answer the questions that you had raised before, that tutakuwa na maji Christmas. And just as we conclude, Mr. Agalomba, any final remarks and messages to our audience and residents of Vihiga County?
Thank you. I want to assure the residents of Vihiga County that we are up to the task. If they have been following my explanation, I can see that we are actually dynamic in the way we are moving. The assurance I would want to give the Vihiga county people. I said the recent problem we had with Kenya Power, we resolved. And we are moving towards ensuring there is amicable working relation. So as we speak, all our water plants are running, and even starting from where we are seated. Where we are seated, the residence of the governor is served with our water. Yesterday I was here, I checked the sinks inside the house. The sinks have got water. We have the external storage there. The water is there as even we speak. There is an outside tap here, has got water. So to start with, actually His Excellency is our customer number one. So I'm starting with the assurance that he has the water, and we are committed to ensure that water flows to these residents, his residents throughout. Now for the entire residents who have our taps and have been receiving water, they should be ensured that during this festive period we will be up to the task and ensure that they don't miss water. And then above all, I would like to, on behalf of the Managing Director, CPA Edwin Bukwe, we want to express our gratitude to His Excellency, the Governor of this county. He's been very helpful, especially in supporting us where we are sunk in terms of power bills. He has actually ensured that it's done. The other time we inaugurated our office, and he was actually the key person there. So we want to express, the way I'm saying, on behalf of the Managing Director, we are very grateful for his support and continued support. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone for joining us today on this week's episode of Feedback Friday with me, Shamim Hussein. And today we are joined by the Vihiga Water and Sanitation Company Technical Manager, Naftali Agalomba. Thank you for your questions, thank you for your comments, and thank you for engaging us throughout the half of the year where we've been able to come to you live at different locations. Today we were at the Governor's residence, and we've been able to hear answers to our questions on water connectivity within the county. We've been able to hear what the Vihiga Water and Sanitation Company does, and we know it as Amatsi, but now we often refer to it as Viwasco. So thank you again for joining us, and thank you to the crew behind the scenes for ensuring that we have a seamless live stream coming to you at the Governor's residence. Thank you. Until next time. Bye.